Hello Flosstube! Today is Sunday the 10th of August 2025 and this is Flosstube number 45. I'm Lindsay, Cheshire Stitcher, both here on YouTube and over on Instagram. Welcome to my channel. Mostly it's about cross stitch, but I do share other crafts, usually beading, sometimes bag making, and I have got some beading for you today. Welcome back if you are a returning viewer, it's lovely to have you here, and a very warm welcome if you are one of the new subscribers I've had since my last video. And I forgot to check how many I had on Flosstube 44, so I've no idea. I think there's around about 10 of you. It's great to have you here. I think those subscribers are mostly due to Mama Loves You GB last week, who essentially gave me a shout out when she said she had been watching my video. Very grateful to her for that. If you are new here and you haven't done so already, I would very much appreciate it if you could do all the things, you know, like, subscribe, hit the little notification bell so you know when I upload a new video. It all helps with the YouTube algorithm. Don't know how it works, but I know it means the more subscribers you've got, the more likely it's going to go, oh, you might like to watch this person. Anyway, admin bit done. Apologies for not coming back last week. I forgot that I had made arrangements to go to a farmer's market with my daughter at Port Sunlight. Port Sunlight, if you don't know, and probably most of you won't, was built by the Lever brothers, who were Quakers, and they built an entire village for their workers. Beautiful place, and the entire village is listed. Go Google it. It's beautiful, beautiful area. And I'd arranged to go to this farmer's market. So we went to the farmer's market, and then we went to a flea market that was held in Hume Hall. And I've got stuff to show you from both bits. But one of the highlights of the day, apart from spending time with my daughter and grandsons, obviously, was standing about 3-4 foot away from Johnny Vegas in the flea market. I left him alone. I recognised him. My daughter's going, I don't know who he is. But I didn't want to disturb the guy, you know. And it's the second time I've run across him in daily life. First time was, oh gosh, must be 8-9 years ago, in the little cafe on the end of Llandudno Pier, and that day clearly he wanted to be left alone because he had his cap pulled right down and his coat on with his collar up. I mean, it was partly because it was cold, but you could see he wanted to be left alone, so I left the guy alone then as well. Maybe if I run across him again in another 8 or 9 years, I'll actually say hello. Right, that's an aside. I do apologise. So today I have got, no, hang on, let me go back. I was saying why I hadn't come. So that's why I didn't record last Sunday. Monday, Tuesday I had the boys. With it being the summer holidays, I was doing an extra day. So that's okay, I'll record on Wednesday. Got up on Tuesday morning, no voice. It wandered off again. It didn't really start coming back until Friday, and as you can tell, it's still a little bit iffy. So I do apologise for that. Right, now I'll go back to what I've got for you today. I have got a finish. I've got some new starts. I've got some PhDs, which, in case you are new here, I don't refer to my projects as WIPs, works in progress. I refer to mine as PhDs, which are potential happy dances. Oh, pardon me. Because we all do a happy dance when we finish something. I've got my little bit of beading, and I've got some stash enhancement. Well, you know, it's been 3 weeks, and I've been to the Festival of Quilts. So there we go. Right, next video should be 24th, 25th, 26th of August. I'm not entirely sure which day as yet. The 25th is Bank Holiday Monday here in the UK. But my partner's brother is coming up again for the weekend. He's coming up on the Friday. We're going fishing on the Saturday. And I don't know if they're going home Sunday or Monday. So everything's a bit up. You know, there's no firm plans. So if they go home on the Sunday and it's early enough, I can record on the Sunday. If not, I can record on the bank holiday Monday, because I don't have the boys on a bank holiday. My daughter doesn't work on a bank holiday Monday. So, and if something else happens, I'll try for the Tuesday. I'll get there. It'll be somewhere around that date anyway. So let me get started. First of all, my finish. I'm not going to show you what it looked like last time. It is my love quilt square that I was working on, the giraffes. So that's been finished and sent off. That's all done. Well, last time I showed it to you, I had the baby's neck to do. So that's that. That's all finished and done and sent, like I say, sent off. And my next one's underway, and that's in New Starts. So, as I said, last time I recorded, I was going down to Bournemouth the following day. And I eventually settled on a couple of things to start. Had a good time while we were down there. I did take videos and pictures for Instagram and never actually got round to posting them, which is a bit stupid. Mind you, there's still time. We also joined a bingo thing, bingo hall. They're all over the country. And I had a win. Yay. I spent it at the Festival of Quilts. Right, so New Starts. As I say, I had to take things to Bournemouth with me that I could wash, because my partner, his brother and his fiancée all smoked. Well, as it is, they kind of planned to go and sit, when they all wanted to smoke, they would go and sit in the bedroom, which was very kind of them. And I didn't expect them to do anything like that, but they did, which was good. So I took a couple of New Starts with me that would be quite straightforward. So the first one was this. It's it was a freebie that I got in 2023 at the Jingle Ball from Liz Matthews. Take my teeth out. Hello from Liz Matthews. She'd stitched it in black on a white. Well, I didn't think that was very Christmassy. So mine's still on white. And it's 40 count Vidal, I think it is. I forgot to make a note of that. I know it's 40 count, but I think it's Vidal. I think it was just a piece I had that was just big enough. And here it is so far. So I'm using sulkies. And that's as far as I got. So I did the Christmas whilst I was there and started on the borders. As you can see, I'm doing red for the Merry Christmas. I'm going to do green for the border. And I was toying with the idea of doing a different green for the two trees and a brown for the deer. But I was like, well, what? I can't do white for the snowflake. But I've got some silver petite treasure braid. So I might just do that with it and just put a bit of colour in it. Loved it. Really, really enjoyed stitching it. I'd taken a light down with me, my little clip-on. It's a Mighty Bright. It's got a light and a magnifier separate. And I'd taken that down with me, so I kept using that for that one. I will, when I've eventually finished it, I will list all the sulkies that I've used for it, in case you want to do the same. So the other thing I took down with me that I started is this one, Her and Elizabeth Stitch It Here. Oh, and both of these are 25 and 25s, by the way. I bought this last year. And like I say, 2023 for the download for that one. I will try and find a link for it, but like I say, I got it the oh, goodness me. The Jingle Ball. It's going to be one of them days, I think. So yeah, I took this with me. Didn't work on it that much. And I'm using a 30 count Murano. And that's how far I got. Well, actually, I didn't get that far. I'd done all of this white, and I'd done part of the top of the bobbin. And then I did the other half of the bobbin and the red one evening at home. So that's how far that one is. It's not very big. It's only 61 by 91. So if I actually pull my finger out, I can get it done quite quickly. So there we go, that's that one. And then my next new start is my next Love Quilt Square. And I'm doing quite well with it. As I say, because I always take a Love Quilt Square when I go to have the boys. So this one is just 6 cars. Now the little boy that it's for loves blue. So I took a selection of blues and I've let the boys pick which blue I'm going to do next and which car I'm going to do next. So I'm doing quite well with it. It's only had like 3, maybe 4 sessions on it. It's quite a quick stitch. I've done it before. So this will be going with me again tomorrow and on Tuesday, because I've got them on Tuesday again this week. But it's coming on really quite well. That one is a bit too green. I shouldn't have put that one in for the boys to pick, but never mind. But those, apart from obviously the wheels and the windows, those 2 are completed. So I will be, like I say, I'll be working on this again tomorrow. I've also got this on my daily wheel spin. So sometimes it comes out on a different day. But I've decided that because it's on my daily wheel, I'm not going to bother spinning it on a Monday or a Tuesday or whatever day I've got the boys. I'm just going to do this as my daily stitch for that day. So that's that one. And then my last new start, I finally got my derriere into gear. And I mentioned this weeks ago. So ID. I know that's not how you say it, but I've no idea how you do say it. And I'm not the only person that struggles with it. Stitchy Sally was the same in her last video. I haven't got the faintest idea how I say it, but it's SOID. SOED IDEE. This is their black Rooster SAL. We've had 7 weeks of it, and I just didn't get round to getting it started for various reasons, with going away and being busy in general. But I finally started it on the 6th of August, so last Wednesday. Yeah, last Wednesday. I am using 36 count Affogato from Fibre on a Whim, and I'm doing the sulky conversion that they give. So we've had, like I say, we've had 7 parts. I've put this into Pattern Keeper. So I have done 634 of 2,968, which is, like I say, the 7 parts, which is 21.30%. So I'm loving it, really, really enjoying it. And I will keep going, doing an evening or 2 till I get caught up with it. But really, really nice. The Black Rooster came out in part 4 or part 5. As you can see, I haven't got that far. Pardon me. I'm just doing what I can in this colour. Then I will move the frame over, finish the top, and then I'll start on the next parts. But loving it. I will put a link to it down below. Really, really enjoying this. So much though that other things are not getting done. But there we go. And there's my card with my info on. Right, so next we will do my temperature stitching. Bear with me, sorry, I need a drink. With being a bit rough. So, these are in the order that they come out. Let me just tell you about my temperature stitching. So, this is my list for July. So, my first one, my 0 was Goose. He came out 3 times. The Quaker Diamond came out 5 times. See How They Run came out 4 times. Elizabeth Lincoln came out twice. My Dragon came out twice. And then Spring, Morning Coffee and French Snowman didn't come out at all. My Love Quilt Square came out 3 times and Nova came out 5 times. I didn't record a temperature for the days I was away. I thought, no, it's just going to be too much to try and catch up. So that was July's temperature stitching. So, and bear in mind that some of these have been worked on again for this month so far. So the first one is this one, which was my birthday start. It's also a 25 in 25. And I still haven't got round to putting cards in. I will do. I will get there. It's this one. See How They Run from Erica Michaels. I've finished one panel and I'm on the second one. So I finished that panel and I'm doing this panel now. And I'm also going to count each panel as a 25 in 25 because they're all individual. So that's the one I'm doing. I've done a little bit on this morning again. So as I say, bear in mind that this has been out this month as well. So last time you saw it, it looked like that. A lot of reflections today. So that was the last time you saw it. And now, move that down there, out the way. Now it looks like this. Quite pleased with the progress I've made on it. Took it with me to Cheshire Stitchers yesterday because I had a couple of sessions I needed to catch up on it. And I made a mistake and I couldn't find it. This wasn't lining up. And so my very good friend Lois sat there and methodically went through it for me. And what I'd done is where I've got a straight one here, I'd done this double one. She and it was very good of her to sit there and do that for me. She like I say, very methodically worked it out. And she's going, well, that's all right. That all lines up. That's correct. That's correct. But she found it in the end. I have got a little bit of frogging to do because here I've only got 1 single stitch there and I should have 2. So I need to, next time I pick it up, I'll sort that out. Well, actually, I'll finish this thread off first. As you know, I've always got, well, not always, but 9 times out of 10 there's a hanging thread on my work because I just put it down when I put it down. If I finished a thread, great. If I haven't, get a hanging thread. My stitching, my rules. So, as I say, that's See How They Run. This was my birthday start this year, and it is one of my 25 and 25. Like I say, each panel will be a 25 and 25. And I'm actually managing to do these roughly in the order that I've worked on them, which is not like me. I kind of pulled them out roughly. So Elizabeth Lincoln is this one. It's the snippet from Northumberland Sample House, who is North Sample House on Etsy. Thoroughly enjoying this one again, and I'm quite tempted to get a couple of other ones of her snippet kits, and I may also splash out on her advents. She's doing some advent boxes, like 5 different samplers, so I am quite tempted. Whether or not I actually will, who knows. And if you wonder why I keep looking down, my notes are down here in front of me on the table, as ever. So, last time you saw her, she looked like that. Oh. And I'm sure I discovered I'd made, I think what I'd done, I think this is one too low. And I was like, do you know what? It's staying in. I'm not frogging it. Oh, not that project yet. Where were we? Where were we? Elizabeth Lincoln, where have you gone? There. So yeah, that was what it looked like last time. As I say, I think I've made a mistake, but it's staying in. So this had a couple of sessions, did I say? Elizabeth Lincoln? Yeah, this had a couple of sessions on it. So my temperature stitching, I shamelessly pinched from Stuart and Stitches, who pinched it from somebody else. There we go. That's what she looks like now. So I did the M and the N. No, I didn't do the M and the N. I did the E, F, G and the H, and started on the next flower, which is how I'm not sure how I worked out that I'd made a mistake, but it's staying. So she's come on okay. She's I do enjoy her when she comes out. So temperature stitching, you get 10 projects, you assign a number 0 to 9, and then you look at the temperature for the day. Personally I use BBC Weather, but you use whatever app you choose. And if a 4 comes out, or so say it's the 24 is the high for the day, you use project number 4. So, and if we get, in the winter, we get to minus numbers, it'll just be whatever it is. So that's Elizabeth Lincoln. As I say, Goose has been out. He's my animal cracker that I'm doing with some of the girls from Cheshire Stitchers, including Elaine, Ellie Welly Stitcher, and Sally, Flossy Sews and Grows. It came up in conversation when we met up at Abercan that we had some crackers and we decided we'd do a stitch along. So the idea is when we finish them, we swap. So we'll all end up with quite a menagerie. And of course they'll all turn out different because we'll all use different fabrics. And, you know, if we haven't got a colour, we're going to substitute a colour if it only uses a little bit. And so it's been fun. One friend, Sue, has already finished her first one, Clovis, and she's made a start on an elephant, I think it is, that she's made a start on. But anyway, there's my Goose. Kind of had to, it's a giraffe. Last time you saw him, come on Goose, where are you? There we go. He looked like this. So, and I've discovered I've made a mistake on him as well. So I'm fudging. using all the called for weeks. I know we keep being told not to fondle our threads, but so those are all the called for weeks. And I'm using 35 count weeks linen in the colour linen. And here he is now. I think once he comes out again, I will have him finished, because there really isn't that much left to do. I've done part of his eye. There's a bit here to do. You can barely see it, but it's there. It's sanguine, very pale colour. So I've got a little bit to fill in his mouth. I've got his nostril, his eye, which you do his eye in 2 strands just to make it stand out. And I've got this big gap here to fill in. So I reckon next time he comes up for a temperature, he will be finished, and then I will be on to his hat. Or I might just finish him one day if he doesn't come out. Like last month, I didn't, a couple of the projects weren't called at all. I've rearranged them a little bit this month so that some of them do get to come out. But if he doesn't come out, then I may well, like I say, just work on him anyway to get him finished. So next up, that's been out, how many times did I say that had been out? 5 times. I think it's been out this month as well. I'm not sure where I've put me. I know where my single sheet is from last month. I'm not sure where I've put this month's. Oh, that's not it. Excuse me. Let's see. Not being too wonderfully well. There we go. Yeah, the Quaker Diamond has been out once this month so far. So, this is what it looked like when it's done. It's from Hillside Samplings. I've had this chart biggest part of a long time. I don't think there's a copyright date on it, but it's a proper photo. That's how long I've had the chart. So I'm using Weeks Dye Works 35 count linen in the colour linen. And I'm using sulky threads. I'm using black and 4002, which is a nice yellowy variegated. So last time you saw it, it looked like this. As I say, it's had 6 sessions on it since you last saw it. And I was in the mood one day for over 1, because that lettering in the centre, that is all over 1. And I'm using just plain black DMC for that. It's a little bit thinner than the sulky. And I didn't have any, well, don't think I've got any black silk. And so here it is now. So I was in the mood for over 1, so I did quite a bit. Did I show you the right picture? Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. When I've put my pad down, I've moved the picture along to this one. Right. I'm sure I showed you the right picture. I did. So there we go. That's how it looks now. So last time I think I had, oh no, that was the time before. I was going to say I had a little bit there to do. So I finished off this one. I filled in all the gaps. Like I say, I was in the mood for over 1. So I got stuck in and did that. That took probably 2, maybe 3 sessions. So although they don't look very big, with them being over 1, there's like, the least amount of stitches was like the L, which was about 18 stitches. So yeah, thoroughly enjoying this one as well. And again, it's a 25 in 25, but I can't remember which number. It was a Mania start as well. I will get round to getting a card in each one. I've got loads of postcards from when my girls were at high school. Bear in mind, my youngest one's 34 this year. And they used to be able to get postcards in the library. And they were all sorts of things. They were film ones. There was hundreds of, you know. And they used to bring some home every week, sometimes daily. And we ended up with loads. And they've just been sat there for years and years. Because back then, you see, if you wanted to enter a competition, you put your details on a postcard and sent it. A, it was cheap, and B, it wasn't all, oh, enter it online. So, you know, a second class stamp was about 50p back then, I think. Might have been a bit less. So it was easy to do. So they used to bring them home so that I had all these postcards to enter these competitions. And then it started changing to, you need to do this, you know. So in the end, I've got a box full of them in my cupboard. Next one I forgot to take a picture of. Let me see if I can find the finished picture. So yeah, next one. This is not my photo. This is from Artemis. Anyway, I googled and found that picture. That's the website that you can find the picture on. Teresa Wentz's Sun Dragon. This is my Dragon Stitch for Mum, organised by Lynn, the Lancashire Stitcher, after she had that not very pleasant comment. And instead of stopping stitching dragons, she's now encouraging everybody else to do them. I decided I'd had enough of my big dragon and wanted to do something smaller, so I have started him last time round. And like I say, I forgot to take a picture of him, and he has been out, I think he came out once. Yeah, after I'd seen you last time, he came out one more time. So I started him on the 16th of July. He's number 16 of 25 in 25. My fabric is 32 count vintage sky and the called for DMCs. So as I say, I forgot to take a picture of him, but here he is now. So first time I showed him to you, I'd done most of this sort of golden yellowy brown. Last time he came out, I finished off a little bit of the brown, and then I've started on this, which is one of the Krynics, because it was during the day. So my partner doesn't like the noise that Krynic makes when it goes through fabric. So if I've got, as he calls it, noisy thread, I do it when he's not around. So there he is after 2 lots. Again, depends how often a 0 comes out. But he's not going to take long. But I'm thoroughly enjoying him. It's nice to work on a TW again. And he's a biscuit tin. It's a flag. Yeah. So my next temperature stitching, and the last of the temperature stitching, is This one, French Country Snowman, JBW Designs. Again, had it for the biggest part of a long time. You can see by the price, they're about £9 now. So, yeah, French Country Snowman. Let me find... photos. So, no, it's not that one. It's that one. Take him out. I know I'm talking to myself, I do apologise. Started him on the 19th of April. He's number 9 of my 25 in 25. And it has a couple of first times on it for me. One is my first time stitching on a fox and rabbit fabric, which is 36 count prehistoric. And it was my first time ever using a variegated sulky, which is 4014. There we go. Nice variegated blue. So last time you saw him, he looked like that. I actually jigged him around so he was a bit closer to the... Yeah. I kind of looked at what came out a lot last month and jigged things around. So he is now, for August, he's number 9. So he's been out twice. So as I say, last time you saw it, it looked like this. And now, sorry, I'm still a bit bunged up, bit rough. It looks like this. So next time he comes out, I will finish Snowman. Yeah, we can build a snowman. So that's how he's looking now. I'd say next time round I'll finish off Snowman, and then I'll move up here and start on his hair and his head and his hat and his broom and his in the meadow wee in the meadow. Yeah, so there we go. It's looking quite good. Again, thoroughly enjoying it. And because he didn't come out at all in July, I was like, I kind of miss working on that. I want to work on that. He's been stored in a bag I made myself. Now, this was one of the very first bags I made. I had a look in my fabric stash, see what I could find. And I was being lazy and not wanting to keep changing feet all the time. So it's got gaps in the top because I stitched it together using the zipper foot. So, yeah, it's a bit of a rough bag, and the zip, I've got fabric cut in there. And this lining, this fabric lining is very special. It was the valance that hung over my mum's bed. So I didn't want to get rid of it. Didn't know what to do with it. And then I had a brainwave of using it for bag liners, but only particular bags. The bags that I make for sale will never have that in. Oh, sorry about that. Pardon me. So as I say, that's the end of my temperature stitching. So now we'll move on to the daily stitches. And again, bear in mind I was away for 5 days. I had one of the projects that I'm doing for Kate Sparklers. That's on my daily list. That came out twice. My Love Quilt Square came out 10 times. That was partly due to being on a Monday But the Dreaming came out 6 times and Peacock Cipher came out 6 times, but Peacock Cipher hasn't been out. Well, it has been out, but I haven't done it as yet. I think it was yesterday's. Hasn't been out since you last saw it. Hasn't been worked on since you last saw it. And again, bear in mind I was away for 5 days. I have got some sessions to do on the Dreaming. Whether or not I'll ever actually get round to doing them, I don't know. I got a bit fed up with it, so because it was coming out so much for 2 months running, I've rearranged, and it's no longer one of my daily stitches. So that's what it's going to look like when it's finished. This is the card out. So I started this on the 30th of May 2025, which, if I remember rightly, I was at the Wrexham retreat. It's 36 count white, and it's the called for threads. It was my last Mania start, and it's number 14 of 25. So, like I say, I'm using white 36. I just had a big piece of it in my stash. So those are my colours that I'm using, which are the called fors. So we have number 93, which is Pacific Ocean, and number 97, which is Aussie Jewels, which is the variegated. And as I say, it came out so much in June and July. I was like, I need to put it away and have a break. So last time you saw it, it looked like this. I think it came out a couple of times after my last video. So as I say, it looked like this. And it's had, like I say, a couple of sessions on it. Possibly 3, I can't remember. Didn't note such things down. I write down in my book what I've worked on, and then, but I don't keep full, I don't count my stitches or anything like that. Well, I do, because I do roughly 100 stitches a day, but I don't keep track and say, oh, well, last time I added this many or that many. I don't do that. And it's the wrong way round. That's the right way again. There we go. So when I worked on it, I've brought the border up here and across there. So I'm pretty much at the point of I'm not far off the top, so I've got sort of this width, because there's another blue liner that goes there. So the top of it's probably roughly where the board is. Like I say, because it came out so many times, I just needed to put it down and take a break from it for a little while. Because I was like, ugh. Like I say, it's got 3 sessions on it that I haven't done. If I'm busy for a few days, what I'll do is I do my daily spin and I'll check my temperature and I'll write them down at the bottom of the sheet. So if I get a chance to catch up or the inclination to catch up, I will. So you never know, you might see it next month as a PhD. So that's that one. As I say, I've changed things around. I've taken the Dreaming out. So, let me get out my... like I say, I've taken out the Dreaming and I've put my Whip Go projects in. Now at the moment, my Whip Goes, I'm still playing catch up. So I thought I'll put my Whip Goes in and then I can get caught up with them. So the next one, I think I'm still on April's, is Winter Bear. Nora Corbett's Winter Bear. He's been out, pardon me, he's been out 3 times, but I've only stitched on him twice. I thought it might be a good way of getting through my whip goes. And if I, well, not if, when I get caught up, I will do the first 2 weeks of the month on one, and then the second 2 weeks on the other. Or I'll do till I hit the 500-ish. So anyway, that's that one. I started this last year as a stitch along with Jeanette. He's on 32 count Lugana. A whole lot of love from Colour Cascade. And that was a gift off a friend several years ago, one Christmas. Last time you saw him, which would have been in my PhD parade at the start of the year, he looked like this. And as I say, he's had 2 sessions on him so far. And now, let me move that out of the way. He looks like this. So I filled in some gaps. I'd done that section there, so I've done a bit more there. I started on the C at the bottom. I've done some of the red. I've brought the grey up. No, I haven't brought the grey up. I'd already done the grey. But I filled in some gaps down here. And so he's got one more session to have done on him. And then we will be caught up with him. And he did get a bit of time outside before I'd put him into this. So I think he's got another two sessions to go before he's completed. Or he's working. Oh dear me, his stitches are done. Here's me thinking, I haven't recorded. I need to get recorded because I've not done it. Maybe I should have waited a few more days, because I quite clearly seem to be having a bit of brain fog. Right, next, you're on here somewhere. You must be on here somewhere. Okay, where are you? No, apparently not. Okay. Pardon me muttering to myself. I thought I had a picture of this, but apparently not. Okay. No picture. I do apologise, but I might have a picture of it. This is some of the, well, I'm doing these 4K sparklies. And I don't know what it is. I don't know whether it's the chart, whether it's me, whether it's the fabric. He's complete. And I frogged him I don't know how many times. This is the one I'm doing now. And I did the bobble on the end of the hat was wrong. So that had to come out and be redone. And I somehow managed to put an extra stitch in somewhere. So everything's ever so slightly is 1 stitch longer. Oh, I'm not frogging it. I'm not. There's too much for me to work out. By the time I'd realised it, I'd got this done down here. And no, I'm not going to frog that. So, as I say, this has been out 3 times in total, because I didn't show it last time, so here it is now. And again, sorry, hanging threads. Lift that up. As I say, that had to be frogged and restitched. And there is a mistake somewhere here. This is one longer than it should be. So I've no idea where the mistake is. But it's coming on. It's got one session Owen on it. But for some reason, I seem to be struggling a little bit with the fabric. I don't know. Maybe it's the subject. I don't know. I mean, I love Christmas, but I am struggling a bit with this one. Like I say, the Santa was just, it was frogged so many times. But there we go. So that's that one. So I reckon a few more sessions on him and that will be done. And this is a 25 in 25. I'm going to count all of the ones for Kate as a 25 in 25. Yes, cheating a bit if you want to think of it like that. But I had everything in my stash before the 13th of December last year. Let me just check I've done them all. No, I haven't. I've got one left. And I've been putting things on top of it. That was one of my bags fell over and hit the my oat jar. No, we're going the wrong way. No, we're still... Oh. I don't know. Remember I said I'd done them cars before, earlier on? Well, that's what it'll look like when it's finished. I did that way back in 2021. So the one I'm doing currently is this fan down here. That one. Well, there you go. You just had a nice quick whiz through my photos on my... Right. I'm back where I should be. So, my other temperature stitch. Sorry, I need to move everything. I've put everything on top of the thing and I forgot to get the picture out. There's Nova. There we go. So, this came out 5 times last month. And it's been moved around because, not because I don't want to work on it, but because it came out 5 times and I thought I don't want that trend to continue, that this comes out lots and other things don't come out at all. So I rearranged things a little bit. I think this is now number 7. And I think I've kind of proved the point already because the French snowman that I swapped, there was number 7, is now number 9. That's come out twice. So this would have been out another couple of times and the snowman wouldn't have been putting in an appearance. So anyway, this is Nova. I started this 2004. When I went to Dove Farm last year, which is the weekend I have with friends beginning of June, one of the girls said, I'm going to give you a challenge. Finish the oldest project you've got or something that challenges you by 2026, because that will be 20 years that we've been doing that weekend away. So last time you saw it, it pretty much looked like this. I realised I hadn't taken a photo. So
I found this on the web.
Oh, go away, silly girl. So those few stitches there were on the next block. When I remembered I hadn't taken a picture. And here it is now. Well, obviously, as you can see, it's quite big. So I have to kind of hide behind it. So the picture, I'd started on this block here. I'd only done the little bit. But there we are, there's Nova as we are going. This one, I'd started this one because I still had thread in my needle. Yeah. Oh. It was in my needle from this block. And these two were ones that I kind of thought, oh, I can't can't be bothered with them at the minute because there's quite a lot of stages to them. And I thought I just can't be bothered with that at the minute. So I'm gonna look and start another block. So that's what I did. So that's Nova. So that is the end of my daily stitching. Nova is one of my temperature projects, not a daily stitch. I just missed it off. So as I've looked at my list, my scribbled list, I'm like, oh, I forgot Nova. So Nova is actually a temperature stitch. It's not a daily stitch. So now we are on to my PhDs, which, as I said before, are potential happy dancers. As I've told you, I went down to Bournemouth the day after my previous video, and I took the snowman mantle with me to work on in the van on the trip because it's a nice big easy count. Pardon me. And you're using pearl cotton, so there's no mucking around separating strands and recombining. So it's a 3-part series. I bought it at Create Nostalgia when I was at the Wrexham retreat, and it kept whispering in my ear, so I started it, as you do. So that's what it's going to look like when it's finished. Last time you saw it, it looked like this. And as I say, bear in mind, it's on a good day, it's a 4.5-hour trip each way. Well, going down took us about 6 hours because of traffic, but it was a Friday afternoon, so we kept getting stuck in traffic. I got a fair bit of stitching done. I have to be a bit more wary of how I work on this one, because if I stitch two-handed, it makes my hand really sore. My finger gets quite painful. So if I'd stitched two-handed, I would have got a lot more done, but it's not worth the pain. So here it is now. So basically I did all of this on the trip, and then I did a bit more of the shelf. Most of this was done on the way down. I'm pretty sure I did all of that on the way down. Well, no, I did the pale blue on the way down, the background, and then I was filling in the blue and made a start on the blue, finished the white off of the board. I've come down here and done this, and then I've done, like I say, I've done the mantle underneath and the base of the big snow globe was done as well. I'm looking at the picture down there. So yeah, I'm really happy with the progress I got on this whilst we were travelling. It's a great one for travelling. Like I say, it's a big count and it's pearl cotton. So yeah, I'm enjoying this. So that's that one. I need to go to a different place now for a picture, don't I? Dropbox. My Dasher and Dancer that I started with my lovely friend Sue on July 1st for Christmas in July. That's had some attention. Sue is whizzing along. She's way over half done. But she also has a lot less projects on the go than me. We were talking about this yesterday at Cheshire Stitchers. And Sue had 9 projects that she's got stitches in. I've got over 60. I need to do a count. Last time I counted was 61. But things have been started and finished since then. So I need to have another count up. So Go away. Dasher and Dancer from Hobby House Press. So say we started it as a stitch along. Sue has done virtually all of, I think she's got a little bit down here to do, but she's done, otherwise she's done all of that. Don't touch your screen. See if we can do it that way. Yeah. So there we go. That's what it's going to look like when it's finished. I didn't print a picture out because I'm stitching it from Pattern Keeper. So I am using, let me find my picture as well. I'm slightly disorganised today, I do apologise. You've seen me at work worse than this though, haven't you? Where's my picture? That's not it. Where have you gone? There. So, keeping this in a bag I made myself. I made one for Sue as well. Finally managed to give it to her yesterday because she wasn't at last month's meeting. I think she was on a retreat. So, if I do a stitch along with a good friend, I tend to, and I know I've got fabric that will suit. I try and make a bag. So this is my fabric is 36 count fabric of the month from March and April this year from Sparklies, and I am using Sulky 1035, one of my favourite reds that they do. My needle's in a funny place and it was sticking out my bag. That's not good. Right. So, last time you saw it, it looked like this. I've literally done 1,000 stitches on it. So, 1,000 of 21,198. So I'm at 4.72%. Not a lot. I will get back to it. I know I say that quite a lot, but I do. And here it is. I don't need my board if I fold my fabric. Here it is now. When I was working on this band here, I discovered I've added half a stitch here. So all of this is one stitch, what is one thread further over than it should be. But I've had a look and I can compensate here. I'm not frogging all of that. No way am I frogging all of that. I had to frog the B, if you remember last time. I'd made a start, I'd done this, I'd done the A, pardon me, and I'd had to frog the B. Well, when I've redone it, I've added, I don't know, can you see it? In my focus, if I hide my ugly mug. Can you see that half stitch there? Yeah. And it wasn't till I was doing this, because I'm one that I like to check as I'm going. And I'm like, well, why doesn't it line up? And then realise what I've done. So like I say, I've looked at the chart and there is a gap not far off. It might be the next, it might be the G and the H, I can't remember. But there is a gap where I can move it back that half stitch so that it all lines up. But there we go. That's as far as I got. And when I said to Sue yesterday that I'd made a mistake in this one, she went, so did I. I don't know what mistake she made, but I know she did say she'd made a mistake herself. So there we go. Really enjoying this one as well. I'm going to be, I need to get myself a bit more organised. I know I do. I've always been a stitch on what you want when you want. And I'm probably going to continue that, but try and be a bit more organised about it. Not quite sure how I'll do that, but there we go. Looking for my next picture, which is that one. So this is Sunflowers Farm from Corey Ibatakori. Doing this one as a stitch along with Jeanette. We started it earlier this year, and for various reasons we always used to do weekends, and then my weekends started to get busy for various reasons, and so there would be 2-3 weeks where we didn't get to work on it. So we now try and make an effort to work on it during the week. So it's had one session since my last video, partly because I've been away, I've not been very well, Jeanette's been busy. So last time you saw it, it looked like this. I've pretty much decided what I'm... Sorry, I kept making a noise. I'm not going to put the S. I'm not going to put the S on the end of Sunflowers, because Sunflowers Farm just doesn't sound right to me. So I think what I'm going to do is work out, count the spaces, and then find one of these little tiny sunflowers that I can put in place of the S. So last time you saw it, it looked like that. Neither of us, it was a Sunday we worked on it, and neither of us did very much. Partly because I wasn't feeling great, and I think I fell asleep. But it was the day of the Women's Euros, so Jeanette was watching the Women's Euros and was too busy watching the football, the match, to concentrate on the stitching. So neither of us got very much done that day. We may work on this evening. It's coming up to 4 o'clock, so we may work on this evening. If not, it will be get this week. I don't know what day yet, but it will get this week. And here's it is now. So I finished off this sunflower and filled it in, and I did the vine across the top, and then I did another couple of leaves on this sunflower here, and that was it. That was all I managed. And like I say, neither of us did much that day. I don't watch football. I'm not a football fan. And it was right at the end of it, and I was like, oh, okay. I just flicked it over to see what the score was, and they were doing the penalty shootout. So I watched the penalty shootout. But there we go. So my partner had got home from work by that time, and so he was over the moon. So like I say, neither of us did much that day for various reasons. Right. Like I say, maybe this evening I need to have a chat with Jeanette when I've finished filming. So next is a project that I'm doing for a customer of Doodlecraft, the designer. It's going to look like that when it's finished. I have been making a bit more of an effort to work on this. I've barely touched it this last week. Mind you, I've not really stitched that much at all this last week with not being very well. I've just not had the energy. And unusually for me, I fell asleep one morning and I slept for an hour and a half. Wednesday morning I fell asleep, hour and a half. Not like me at all, but I did feel better for it. So anyway, last time you saw it, it looked like this. And so I haven't done that much on it, but I have worked on it. I'm going to be trying on those days I'm home. So like not Monday, Tuesday, because I'm usually too tired when I get home on a Monday. To put some stitches in it every day because I need to get it finished. Poor lady's waited long enough, and I want my frame back, and I just need it out of my life now. So here it is. So I finished this blue section. You can't really tell, but I've done the white down each side. And I've come up and done this white up here. I think next time I pick it up, I am going to do the M, finish the word off. Might bring this border along a bit, might bring this border along a bit. I don't know, I haven't decided. Pardon me, I've still got a little leaf to do somewhere around here, because it sits on the top of the flag. Oh, there we go, that's that one. It's getting there, slowly but surely. And now, my last PhD that's had some love. Lois will be very happy to see this. I just felt, well, I'd been watching Lynn, the Lancashire Stitcher, and she's doing the Lancashire flag. And I was like, oh, I've not worked on mine for a while. And as I say, it's the UK, well, she's got a Union Jack flag. It's only a Union Jack when it flies on a ship. Otherwise it should be referred to as the Union flag. But it's the Quaker flag, the Quaker Union flag that I started last year as part of a stitch along. Worked on it as often as I could. So last time you saw it, it looked like this. Lynn is going to try and do 1 square a week on her Lancashire flag. I am very tempted to pinch that idea and try and do 1 square a week on this. And I have missed this one so much. It wasn't until I worked on it that I was like, oh my God, I'd forgotten how much I'd missed this. So that was last time you saw it. My fabric is 40 count Bluetiful from Fabrics by Crafty Kate. The designer is Vivian from the Vivsters on Etsy. And it was organised as a stitch along by Gail of Wombat Hollow Crafts and Nicole of Darvanelli Designs. So I'm using sulky threads and say 40 count Bluetiful from Fabrics by Crafty Kate. Lovely oh, it's just a dream. But yeah, I think, what do you think? Should I pinch Lynn's idea and do square a week? I had to do a little bit of frogging on it. Here it is now. Now when I picked it up, some of these white ones along here that I'd already done up here, they'd gone yellow. So I must have had something on my fingers when I worked on it last time. So I frogged those out and redid those. But I've done quite a lot of white on it. As I say, I'd forgotten just how much I enjoy working on this. So, yeah. Let me know in the comments if you think I should pinch Lynn's idea of a square a week. Loved it. When I told Lois yesterday that I'd worked on it, she was like, ooh. She loves this project as much as I do. So there we go. That's where I am with this one. Maybe this time, if I hold things up a bit longer, YouTube will give me a decent thumbnail. Because just lately, most of the thumbnails have been with me turning my head or with my mouth open because I'm in the middle of speaking. And I'm like, oh, what can I do? That's why last time's video had the box top from Heartstring Stampery on it, because none of the pictures were good at all. I don't know why they keep doing that to me, but they do. So there are 48,335 stitches in the flag in total, and I have done 7,379, which puts me at 15.27%. So I write it down. That was some scribbling workings out because I forgot to count. I forgot to check what I'd stitched in a day. So that's where we are now with that one. I am using sulky threads. I didn't get the tin out. So for the 762, I am using 1071, which is the creamy colour. There. For the 817, which is the red, I am using 1035, which is obviously that red. The lighter blue, this one. For 930, I'm using 1283. It's like an Air Force blue, a light Air Force blue. And then these darker, the sort of the diamond outlines. For 939, I'm using 1197. So yeah, so happy to have worked on this again. And that is the end of my PhDs and my stitching. So if you're only here for the stitching, bye. I'll see you next time. Like I say, 24th, 25th, 26th, somewhere around there of August. Not entirely sure when that will be. Say it depends on what's happening with his brother and his partner. If they go out on the Sunday, I could record on the Sunday. I've got a feeling it might be my beading group on the Monday. The August bank holiday usually is. Right, anyway, so we are on to stash enhancement. Excuse me, again. I don't normally drink so much, as you know. Might have a couple of sips a couple of times, but because I've not been very well and my throat's still a bit. So, I'll start with the bits and pieces I picked up in Bournemouth. No, I won't. I forgot this last time. Because I was one of the last ones leaving the Peakside weekend, the Heartstrings weekend, I was still packing up because I was chatting to my friend and I was chatting to a couple of other people and chatting to Sue. Sue gave me a tin. DMC tin. I don't think she had enough to give to everybody, but because we were sort of there while she was starting to pack up, she came round and gave us a couple of these, and then I went and spent a penny and came back, and my friend goes, "Well, I've been given a pen," and I'm like, "You didn't get me one." There's a chart in it for that design. Obviously I can't show you the other side. On the chart, a lot of this is backstitch, but it's quite a pretty little sampler. I think they're supposed to do it in a metallic thread. Yeah, but that was in there. So yeah, as I say, I forgot this last time. It's a lovely little tin. It wasn't till I was packing up and I went, oh fudge. It's not the first time I forgot something, but this time I remember to show you. Right, so I went, like I said, I went to Bournemouth. We had a trip to Corfe Castle one day, and in the shops, the little village, as we were walking from the car park into the town, well, town, village, I think it's more of a village, we came across this shop and I'm going to have a look in there. And I'm really glad I did, because I found this. It's, pull the right end off. It's tin. partner's going, what are you going to use that for? And I'm going, I have no idea. It looks like a spool of thread. If nothing else, it can sit on the shelf and look pretty. Okay. So yeah, I got myself one of these. I've seen. It might have been at the Big Stitch last year. These were given out as gifts. I know I've seen a couple of floss tubers with them sitting on the shelf behind them. So I bought that. I couldn't not get that. We spent quite a lot of time in some amusement arcades in Poole. And one of them gives you tokens. You know, tickets, you feed them in the machine and you can swap it for prizes. So we got some, we were looking, and my partner spotted this. He went, well, why don't you get that? You know, there's enough points. Why don't you get that? So his thought was, you know, if I'm going somewhere and I need a bit of extra light and I can't take my big light with me, I can use this. So I took it with me yesterday to Cheshire Stitchers and didn't need it. Guarantee the 1 month I don't take it, I could have done with it. So it's just a little LED lamp, but it's great. And it works off a battery pack, or you can put batteries in it. So that is going to be very handy for all sorts of things, including in the camper. We now have a camper van. Yeah. So that will be ideal for in there, because I can't take this or my other one. I've got two of them. I've got that one there and I've got one that sits by my beading desk. Beading! Didn't show you my beading. Silly, silly girl. Completely forgot to show you my beading. So I'll do that now. Oops. So first thing is I finished this. This is Scandi Ornament from Spellbound. It's one of the kits I bought back in July when I went with my friend Kate from Sparklies. When we have our weekend away, we always go and have a wander around. We always go into Spellbound and have a look round. And they had Christmas kits on sale, so buy Christmas kits. The one I really wanted was out of stock because they didn't have the main colour of beads for it. But yeah, thoroughly enjoyed that. That's done in square stitch. One of my favourite stitches to do. And I made a slight modification. I've stitched these loops to the wire because it kept doing this, folding, sliding along to the centre, and it was really getting on my nerves. So I just stitched just a few thread loops through there. And then once I'd finished that, I've also made a couple of ornaments for my grandsons for Christmas, but I'll do a Christmas ornament show later in the year. No, don't vanish on me. There we go. You've seen this lots and lots of times before. I've been working on the Julia Prettle stacking tree. I'm only doing 6 sections because I don't have enough of the darker brown to do 7, and I don't want to buy any more. So mine is not in those colours. So this is tier number 6. So I've done the bottom, I've done the sides, and when I pick it up next, which will probably be tomorrow morning, I bead most mornings, I will be starting the decreases to bring it in. So yeah, I do apologise. I am really sorry, and I hope I'll have to put something in the comments about being in a dum-dum. if people wanted to see the beading, so just watch the first little bit of stash enhancement because it's there. Tell you, if I had a brain, I'd be dangerous sometimes. Right, so back to stuff I bought in Bournemouth. There was this little shop in Boscombe, which is where I say Bournemouth because Bournemouth is easier to find, and most people in the UK have a rough idea where Bournemouth is. But we were actually stopping in Boscombe, which is essentially, you know, it's along the little town about, it was about a half an hour bus trip away because we went in on the Saturday. But there was this little shop in Boscombe that sold all sorts of crafty bits and pieces. And it wasn't until we were leaving to come home on the Tuesday morning it was actually open. So I had a route around and I found this. I thought, ooh, I'm going to make myself a dragon bag. So, yeah. I don't know how well it'll turn out because it's one of those silky ones. I mean, the back's just as pretty. So I bought the entire piece. Do you know what I might do? I might, if there's enough of it, which there quite possibly is, I could do that on the outside and then turn it over and have that as my liner. Because that's just as pretty. How well it'll work, I don't know, because it's one of those, like I say, it's one of those silky ones. It's just, I saw it and thought, I'm having that. No ifs, no buts. And I'm like, I don't know how well it'll turn out, but I'm going to give it a go. So, yeah, nice silky fabric. It'll be an interesting bag to make. And then I found, I mean, this at one time, this fabric was commonplace everywhere in all sorts of colours, and there's this tape measure fabric. So I bought everything they had left. I think it was just about 2 meters, maybe slightly over 2 meters. So there will be bags made from this at some point in the future. I do have one of the multicolour versions of it as well, but there's not enough for bags. So what I might do is do, you know what I've done in the past, if you've watched other videos with where I've shown bags I've made, the top strip, I've done different colour. So I may well do that with this. But as soon as I saw it, I'm like, I'm having that. It's a shame they didn't have any of the other colours because I would have had that as well. So, yeah. I will check that shop out again in the future. There was some right little gems in there. When we came back from Bournemouth, my Silks For You monthly colours arrived. There we go. So I have, that's PR112, PR122, PR137, and PR143. I was having a quick look through my stash this morning. I was looking for something else, which I haven't told you about. I was looking for the chart of Ellen Gregory. If you remember you may remember last time I said I might do a stitch along, and I'd posted in the group. Well, quite a lot of people have said, oh yeah, I'll join in. So 1st of September, I'm going to be starting Ellen Gregory, but I'll talk about that more next time. When I found the chart, I can't remember where I've put it. If you've got any suggestions as to where I might have put the chart, let me know. But I found, whilst I was looking for that, I found an ink circles chart, and I was thinking, oh, I could use one of my my Silks For You for that. And I think that might be the one. Might be, I don't know, because I've got lots. As you know, I get 4 each month. So, back in April, I placed an order with Northgate Needlecraft. I ordered this and somebody had come in the shop and bought all that she had. So I've had to wait and wait and wait and wait for this to come in. So this is 37 count Russian, legacy linen Russian tea cake. Like I say, I'd ordered it and it was showing in stock on the website, and then she messaged me the following day and said, I am so sorry. Somebody came in and bought all I had. So we had to wait, and I'm fine, that's okay. This might be a contender for Ellen Gregory, possibly. So she did offer at the time, she said, I can send you that now. I'm like, no, it's fine, I can wait. I'm not in any rush for a new needle minder. So I treated myself to that as well. Kelmscott Designs. Sunflower. What do you expect? So, yeah, I bought that. So they came. They were here when I got back, actually. She sends them beautifully wrapped. It's not beautifully wrapped now, but she wraps them up beautifully, and you know, I've got a nice label on the top telling me what it is. And because I'd had to wait, she put in a few skeins of DMC as well, which I thought was lovely. It's not her fault that somebody came in and bought it all, and I had to wait. But yeah, she put in a few skeins of DMC, which I thought was a really nice touch. So let me I'm just going to put these back in here, otherwise I'll lose them. So that's that. I found this on one of the selling sites. This has been on my wish list at 123 for, I don't know, well, since last year probably, when one of the girls at Cheshire Stitchers was working on it, and I was like, oh wow, I fell in love with it. So that was on my wish list, and when I saw it on a D-stash site, I thought, right, I'm going to have that. The hobby crap near my daughter is closing down, and they were selling stuff off. It started off at 30%, then it went up to 50%, and last week it was 70%. So, well, actually it was 70% for a couple of weeks. It closed Monday. I picked up some DMC and some Etoile and some of the Colaris, and 70% off DMC worked out to 45p a skein. So I didn't need lots. So, and the white and the black and the green, all the common colours, they'd gone weeks ago. So I just picked up a few colours that I thought, I know I use them reasonably regularly. And I also bought fabric, but I haven't got that to show you. I have got fabric from the Festival of Quilts to show you though. So I found some stickers. These were somewhat like 67p reduced. And not last week, when I went in the week before, I found this. It was in one of those, you know, if you've ever been in Hobbycraft in the UK, they have those like hexagonal red bins. This was in the bottom of it, and it said on the front of the bin, £5. I thought, well, £5 for a fat quarter of white Murano, which if I'm stitching, if I'm not working on 36, I'm working on 32. I thought a £5 is a good price, and when it actually went through the till, it was £2.10. Bargain. Couldn't leave it there at a £5, let alone £2 off. So now I'll show you the Festival of Quilts. I always go each year to help my friend Kate Sparkleys with her stand. Well, it was really quiet this year on the Saturday, so I got to spend a bit more time shopping than I would normally, because her son goes and helps as well. So I got Spoon from Trudy Ann Designs. I had a right, you know, There's loads of them. And this was the one that felt right to me. And it was £4.70, which I thought was quite reasonable, knowing how hard these are to get hold of. And then she had these little pouches. So I got one of these, thinking, actually, I could put Merry Christmas. And that New Start could go in there, because at the moment, there's 2 in one bag. I also have had my cotton and twine box, but you'll have seen the cotton and twine box. It's the Busy as a Bee, because so many people get it off them. It gets shown earlier in the month, so by the time you get to me, it's like a bit pointless me showing it. So I bought that, so that's going to be housing a small project. And then, oh, don't fall over. I picked up stuff like new blades for my rotary cutter and, you know, incidentals that you don't really need to be seeing. I got myself one of these. I wanted the smaller version to store the sulkies in, because at the moment they're all jumbled up in a box. And I thought, no, I could do with it, because you can get the Gutterman ones that are much smaller, but this was the only one I could find, so it'll do for now. As you can see, I bought it from the Quilted Bear. They have loads of stuff. They're a good one. So now I've shown you, I can put my my sulkies in there. I had wander around the bramble patch, and I bought myself a couple of their kits. So I got Mini Treasures by Hand. It's about 15 by 15 when it's finished. I think that was the size it says. I've seen it somewhere. Oh, there you go, yeah. 15 by 15. Finished size is 15 by 15. They are 1/4 inch. I think they're 1/4 inch. My colour palette is slightly different to that. So that's my background fabric. It's greener than it's showing. That's a bit more of an accurate colour. You get full instructions. You get a sheet full of hexagons to cut out. If I'd thought about it, I'd have gone to a different stand and bought the pre-cut ones. And then my pack is Snowman Gathering 4 from Moda. So this is my charm pack. So you get, that one's very pale with like little grey dots on. And then there's one with cream with stars on. Circles. And then a check. And looks vaguely like a, I'm not sure, is it supposed to be a poinsettia or something like that? And then we have a stripy one. And then we get, the colours change as you go through. So I get all the patterns, but if you don't know what charm pack looks like, it basically is a 5-inch square. So you get all your patterns, but they all work together because they are all from the same range. So it tells you how to do it and how to cut it out and what you want. You know, you get to a point after about the 3rd round where you can't, there's not enough, you can't cut enough squares. So if you look, the third round they've got alternate ones, and then they've got it on the fourth and the fifth. So when I actually come to start it, I will decide then. So it all comes beautifully packaged in a box. There's no picture on the top of this one, which is why I've shown you the picture from the inside. So I've got myself that to do. And I fell in love. They had the model for this. I fell in love with that. I've never made anything like that before. So I thought, I'm going to give that a go. But the girls were all really good. They kept saying, you know, if you need help, you can email us, you can give us a ring. The girls were saying the instructions are really good, which I've had Bramble Patch kits before, so I know that. So that's it, a bit closer. And then again, it comes beautifully packaged in a box with tissue paper. But oh, let me just, I'm going to pick it up. It's going to be easier. So that's the sort of the edge and binding. I opened, I mean, I loved it looking at the model, but when I opened the box and saw all of these, I was like, oh, I love that one in particular. I just fell in love with it. Dragons. Who doesn't love a dragon? Well, a lot of people. So, yeah. I don't know why I bought it's a table. I have a round table. It's quite a long straight one for that. There we go. Oh. So, I'm looking forward to attempting this at some point. When I do eventually have a go at it, I'll let you know. How we fare. Okay, I bought fabrics for bag making. Jeanette had asked me, she wants, she's going to do Snow Queen, Mirabilia Snow Queen, and she wanted blue with snowflakes on. This is the only one I found. So I will be making a bag for Jeanette out of this. Very glittery. But I don't know how they've done it, but there's no glitter. No glitter comes off it at all. So I shall be making a snowflake bag for Jeanette fairly soon. And on the same stall, which was Doherty's, I found more dragon fabric. They had this in various colours. They didn't have a purple, so but this is sort of a crimson-y purple. Yeah, it's more of a sort of a very deep crimson bordering on purple. But there we go. I can't. Oh, dragons. I'm having that. I've got to have that. And then wandering round, I found rainbow fabrics. And they're one of these ones that it's however much it is a metre, or you can go and get the offcuts. And I did buy an offcut one, well, you know, sort of an end of roll, but it's for linings, and it's just like a cream, mottled cream grey background with gold spots on it. But they had this. So there will be more, there will be some dragon bags in my future. In fact, Kate, that goes to Cheshire Stitchers, when I mentioned I had a dragon fabric, she went, I want one. She hasn't even seen the fabric. Well, she will have done now when she gets round to watching this video. But, yeah, it's a dragon. She's going, it's a dragon. She's not bothered about the Oriental, but she wants one of these. And then I went out because I'd forgotten to get something and came across a stall with this. William Morris's Strawberry Thief. And again, I know people, it's not hugely my taste, but I know a lot of people love the Strawberry Thief. So I got some of this, and it's a slightly thicker one, so it should be a bit more of a substantial bag. Pardon me. So yeah, they had the red one as well, but I didn't like the red one as much. Even though I like red as a colour, I wasn't so keen on the red one. So that is that for Festival of Quilts. So as I say, last weekend I went to the farmer's market at Port Sunlight. And there was a guy there with bags. I got the one with the purple bag. He had them hanging up, and I'm like, oh, it's a giraffe. Ideal for a bigger project. So the bumblebee may end up in this, I don't know. But I'm like, I've got to have that. I'm just, there's no question about that. I'm having this. And I was looking at it, and he went, I've got all the backing colours, because I think the one he had out was a green. So he goes and he roots, and he comes back with this one and a yellow one. I'm going to have the purple one. So yeah, I've got myself a lovely bag, and it's really well made. It's nice and thick. It's lovely and sturdy. And on the inside, it's not on the inside, it's what I've put inside. As I said, we went to the flea market at Hume Hall, and I'd kind of gone in with the, it would be nice if I could find some spools. I did. Found 4 of them. They're all the same. And I kind of stopped and I went, oh, 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 oh. And my daughter's going, what? And I'm going, spools. And she's going, huh? She's not a stitcher, my daughter. Fine. And the woman on the stall was looking at me, and she was like, the spools? I went, yeah. I said, do you realise how hard these are to find when you're a stitcher? She went, oh. She said, I'd bought 10 of them. Those are the ones I've got left. So I had all 4 of them. And she was like, I'm so glad they're going to go to a home where they're going to get used and loved. I was so excited. Simple things. As I said, I kind of hoped I'd come across some spools, and I did. And you know, I said earlier about I was stood a few feet away from Johnny Vegas. Well, that was while we were standing waiting for the vendor to appear, because this one vendor had a motorbike helmet and some gloves. Well, Elliot, my 5-year-old grandson, he fell in love with this helmet. So we were waiting for the fella to come back to find out how much it was. And it turned out it was only a £5. Well, for playing in, great. He's loved it. He's been a spaceman. He's been a motorbike rider. He's loved it. He's absolutely loved playing with that helmet this last week. So, if I can, I'll try and get a picture of him in it to show you next time, because he loves it. They both got the same amount of money spent on them, but Elliot just loved this helmet, and it fit him perfectly. Great. My fabric of the month from Crafty Kate has arrived. I have a 13 by 18 36 count linen. So this is the June one. I think this is the June one, because she went away, or is it, or I can't remember. It's either June or July's. Probably July's. So I've got that. And then, last but not least, a few little bits of stitchy kindness. Now, my friend Sue, the one that I'm doing Dasher and Dancer with, went to the Wrexham retreat for the day on the Friday. And I got this message off her saying, this is on the freebie table, would you like it? And I'm going, yeah. Bit of a silly question. She said, well, I didn't know if you'd had it or not. This one, if I remember rightly, this is the one that was in the goodie bag at the Big Stitch last year. And I remember looking at it and thinking, I wonder how long I'm going to have to wait for them to release it for sale. There we go, without the reflection. Well, I don't have to wait anymore. And it's 73 by 116, so it's not huge. So yes, I was very, very happy. And then last but not least, my lovely friend Lois. She probably one of those. This is the needle minder for the Dragon Stitch for Mum that Lynn's doing. We're better off that way around. No, that way was better. Yeah, so I just hadn't got round to ordering myself one of these yet. I was going to, and I just hadn't gotten round to it. And then, like I say, Lois gave me that yesterday. So that will be going on my Sun Dragon. And then she'd also taken herself these. She'd taken them with her because she was having trouble wrangling some fabric. She was going to use these to keep it out the way, and we're going, they're not big enough. They're not going to do it. They're not going to be big enough. So Sue gave us some of the magnetic ones. We're packing up to go, and these were in my bag. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I took them out and gave them her back and went, you know, these are falling in my bag. She went, no, they didn't. She'd put them in my bag on purpose because she's got no use for them. So thank you, Lois. They will get used for bag making. They will get used. You can never have enough of these. And in fact, they'll probably end up being used when I make this up. So there we go. And you know what? That is everything. And this video, I've beaten my last one. My videos are getting longer and longer. I do apologise. This one is 1 hour and 52 minutes. They're getting longer. But in my defence, this time around, it has been 3 weeks. And I don't normally have stuff from Festival of Quilts and that. I would imagine in my next one at the end of August, there might be some fabric or my dinky dyes. But that'll be it. There won't be lots. It's only because if I hadn't gone to the Festival of Quilts, I wouldn't have had so much. If I hadn't gone to Port Sunlight and found spools. So, happy girl. Right. So that is everything. You should see the devastation around me here. There is stuff piled on the sofa that sits beside me. There's stuff piled on the floor. There's stuff piled on the side of the sofa here. It's everywhere. It's on my table, everywhere. And I'm going to have to get tidied up, get the cats fed, because it's 20 to 5 now. Tea time's 5 o'clock, and it's Sunday, so they get tuna. Once a week. We have a Sunday dinner, why shouldn't they? So they get a tin of tuna once a week between them, not a whole tin on their own. So yes, I shall get tidied up, and I shall get stuff piled on the stairs to be taken up as I go up. I will have a chat to Jeanette about whether or not we're doing Sunflowers Farm tonight, or whether or not we're going to do it one day in the week. And I will see you in a couple of weeks' time, somewhere between the 24th and the 27th of August. So until then, you take care of yourselves and happy stitching. Bye.